Hi, my name's Matt, and I'm going to show you Amplitube 2 today and some of the features and some of the cool things that you can do with this little standalone amplifier simulator. Excuse me. The first thing you have to do is launch Amplitube, which I've already done, because it's a fussy program if you don't launch it first. It's kind of like a jealous lover. If you launch Windows Media Player and then you launch Amplitube, you're probably going to have some sort of interference in how the program operates, which usually manifests as a little buzz in the sound. But as you can see, turn this up a little bit. I have a nice, clear, clean tone. It actually has a little reverb on it, which I don't really understand because everything's empty, but you know, whatever. It must be on one of the amps or something here. So up here you have an MP3 player that allows you to open audio, and I'll put Jamie's Crying in there since I've been on a Van Halen kick lately. And then you can just click right here. And I actually have backing tracks loaded with no guitar. Now within this little parameter panel right here, you've got pitch and tempo. So as the song's playing, you can lower the pitch. Or you can lower the volume, which I'm going to do here. You can lower the tempo. Now, if I'm going to be critical of anything, it's going to be that when this MP3 player, when you slow down the tempo, it seems to break up the sound. It gets crackly, and I do not prefer that when I'm trying to slow things down to learn them. But it will slow them down a little bit and still say okay. Alright, now we also have a loop feature right here. So as the tune's playing, you can hit A right here. If I hit A on O, then I'll hit B right here. And that's my end point. So this is the entrance point for the loop. And this is the exit point. And you can see right here the little loop field. You can zoom in on that if you want. And you can see that that's your little loop field right there. You can clear those by hitting clear. I really like those features. I really like this in general. The only thing I really don't like is it just is not a clear, clean tone when you start dropping the tempo really, really low. So, alright, let's take a look at this window here. This is your load window. So you click on this little bugger, and it gives you a bunch of presets, and there's an online community that you can share presets with other players, get ideas on presets for certain tones. So complete rigs, bass, clean. It's got a whole bunch of bass types of things. These are all pretty much clean. There's a fuzz. Octaver. So here's my presets. I don't really have that many. I have a nice clean that I've created. With little reverb. But it's fine. to tell you the truth, what I did was I went through here and I found some presets that I liked that were close to what I wanted, and then I built on them. I haven't actually built anything from scratch yet. I probably should. But here you've got signature, which is, you know, you have like a Carlos Santana tone. I don't know his tone that much, but I guess it's supposed to be pretty close. Brian May. Don't Stop Me Now. Have you heard that song? And it says that one actually happens to be Brian Don't Stop. So I'm wondering, here's Brian One Vision. So I wonder if... very cool. Bohemian Solo. That kind of sounds like it. You've got styles, blues, funky, metal, that's where I usually start off, jazz, pop, rock, 50s and surf rock. Let's listen to one of those randomly. I don't know what a lot of these things mean. They're just names. RL Vintage Verb. Sounds okay, the Dick Dale 50s style. It's got the VIP. It's funny, you know, I don't know who really any of these guys are. Andrew Sinowak, big solo. Oh, makes you want to do a big solo, that's for sure. Chimney Clean. Chimney Clean. I wonder if this patch would have done it. Probably not. I bet the big solo patch would have, though. Alright, so anyway, you've got all of these great presets. Now, we'll just stick with Chimney Clean right now. Excuse me. Now over here, you've got your routing options for this window right here. So if you click on one, you'll see the input. Everything hits the tuner first. And then it goes through your stomp A, and then it comes down through your stomp B, and then it zigzags through one amp. And then it goes into one cabinet and into one rack, and then into the other rack, and then out. So you're seeing your signal path. Now, if you don't like that signal signal, okay. I'm still learning how to talk. Signal path. You could hit 2 and see this comes out of the tuner and hits both the stomp boxes from there. See, if you do something, I went back to 1. If you do something here, you'll see here's your stomp boxes. You can load up a distortion pedal, and then this is going to affect anything that you do in here. So if I put an EQ, it's going into this box and then into this box. So whatever you do here is going to affect this. Now when you go to 2, you'll see that it comes out of the tuner and then it splits. So this isn't going to affect that. You'll still hear it, it just affects it in a different way. I kind of like 2 because I like coming out of the tuner, and this is just straight route and then out. And you can see how it splits. This splits right here and then goes into stomp A and B, and stomp A goes into amp A and into cabinet A and into rack A and then out. Stomp B goes into amp B, so on. And you got all these different configurations. Just by Just by changing, I haven't changed anything except for the path. And it sounds different. So there's 8 of these different routing paths for your extension parameters here. So I'm going to go back here, I'm going to empty this. I'm going to go back here to stop A and I'm going to empty this. Go back to that right there. So we're going to look at the stop. The stop A and B are exactly the same. You've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 pedals that you can click. So as you can see, this is your floorboard. It's trying to simulate a floor. It looks a lot like the floor in my studio, actually. But you can go through. Here's all your different types of stomp boxes. Stomp boxes. If you want a chorus, you just put in a chorus, and you can adjust that just like any other chorus. But now all these windows, when you click on them, they're all the same. You can put an EQ in. You could put a compressor in. You could put an envelope filter in. And all these are controlled through Stomp A. Then you can go to Stomp B, and you can do the same thing. So you can use up to 10 effects. And I'm going to go and empty this again. Now Stomp A goes to Amp A. Now, this is simulating your head. So you've got different heads that you can scroll through. Turn down the gain on that, maybe the volume. Right here. So this is, and it kind of gives you an idea all the different heads. So you want a bass preamp type head. You want a British tube lead head. It's got different EQ modeling for this, so you can. There's really literally thousands of different combinations that you can put together. So you have your head, your gain, of course, your basic EQ parameters, spring reverb on this particular head, and here it is kind of an amp model. This is a 50 watt EL34, 100 watt EL334, 50 watt 6L6. So if you know what all those are, or if you read about any of them, you can come in to Amplitube and maybe check them out. So there's 2 amp heads, so you can run this in stereo. You can split if you have a stereo input. You can split your signal and run this in stereo and get stereo panning on chorusing and stereo panning on echo and just whatever. So there's amp A and there's amp B. You've got cabinet A and cabinet B as well. So this simulates your cabinet. So this is a 112 combo, or you can, here's a 112 open back. Yeah, you can take the grill off if you want by just clicking on it. That's a 212. You'll see right here it says 212. That's a 412. So it's kind of fun. 412 open vintage. Over here you've got what type of mic you're going to be using. If you're like me, you probably use if you live around here, you probably use a Shure 57 most of the time. So that's what I have right here. You can see that right here. But anyway, you can put it off axis or on axis. You can have the mic near or far. That's near. That's far. And there's an ambience that kind of creates a little little reverb. I think it's basically simulating the room size. So that's how the cabinets work. You simulate your cabinets. Then you have rack effects as well. I tend to use more signal processing at the end in the racks than I do in the beginning here. I just think they sound better. I think the echo sounds better, and I think the reverbs, delay sound better when they're at the end of the chain. So we can see here that this has got a tube compressor, and it's got a little reverb. And of course you can make that bigger, here's the density, and turn up the mix. Sit here all day, and you know, I get inspired by different tones. So if I hear a tone that's interesting, who knows what I'm going to play? I have no idea what I'm going to play half the time. But it's the same idea as the stomps over here. The stomps over here had the little load icons at the bottom. This has got them just side by side. So there's actually more in the stomps than there is in the racks. But you could come down here and, you know, add a flanger if you want. It's fun. So at the end of the day, when you're done messing around with this, you can hit save as. And this was his chimney clean. So what I might do, what I do is if I edit a preset, I'll just say chimney clean, and then I'll say matte edit, you know, 1. So in case I go in here and I go to chimney clean and I edit it something different, then I'll go up here to so we close that so you can see what I did. Saved a folder, I just click on that, and then I go to my matte folder, highlight that, and then I'll save it in the matte folder. So then if you go up here, oops, gotta close that. Oh, I gotta hit save. If I go up here to matte, I'm gonna have chimney clean edit 1 in my presets, and at the same time, I didn't save over Andrew's chimney clean that he created. So I maintain the integrity of all the presets, and which I think is important. It's important to stay organized. For some reason I skipped over the tuner. The tuner is the first piece of gear in the line, and it's very handy. For some reason it's always off. Even if you try to save it, it goes off. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying. Tune up with that. So tuner, stomps, amp simulator, cabinet simulator, racks, and then out. You also have a mute button. You also have a bypass, which puts you kind of back to where you started. Up here there's a metronome that you can set the tempo. So, you know, if you're practicing scales to a metronome, there you go, you got yourself a metronome. I personally, I don't recommend practicing scales to metronome for any other reason than to monitor your speed. So you don't want to sound too metronome-y. It's good to let your music slow down and speed up a hair here and there. Makes it human. Now, down here you can just scroll through your presets. I never use that button, because if I want something, I just go up there and click on it. You got different sampling preferences down here. I've never really messed with that. This is pretty important though, your input, especially if you're using this as a Pro Tools plugin, because you can overdrive your signal with some of the things you do up here. So it's important to watch the input that you don't. So yeah, that's peaking right here. Let me turn that up again. Even though it may not sound too bad here, it's going to sound horrible when you're recording. This is a pretty handy little dude right here, the noise gate, because for some of these patches, I'm going to go to one of my, go to Matt Dirty Verb. This is kind of a loud patch, and that's what it sounds like. So I don't like to hear that, so I'll turn up my noise gate a little bit. Then I actually have to be doing something to the guitar to get that to open. And it's nice and quiet. So I really like that, and the release is there also. You got a little tuner down here as well. It shows up. I don't know why it's not on right now. I'll get back to you on that. Just because I never use it. Here you have panning and level, and here you have a master out. So there you have it. That's Amplitube. It's an amazing amp simulator. From what I've seen, it's probably the best one on the market. I've tried Guitar Rig, I've tried Native Instruments, oh gosh, there's a few others that I've looked at, and I like this one the best personally, so I highly recommend it. It's great fun, and I enjoy doing this tutorial, and I hope to do others, so thanks.